Another cottonmouth. It seems that cottonmouths are actually quite prevalent on this creek. Oh my god, look at that. There's a diamondback water snake swimming right there. I'm gonna grab him. Give me a second. And then we're gonna move on to the cottonmouth. Oh shit, well I guess he's upstream now. We'll catch him later. I'd rather catch the cottonmouth than the diamondback water snake. If I would have been more patient, this wouldn't have been a problem. But actually we might net the cottonmouth, get him in a position where he can't escape, and then once we do that, we can handle the diamondback water snake and get on with that. Only thing is, I just don't want the diamondback water snake to pass me while I'm dealing with the cottonmouth. Decisions. Doesn't matter really, because y'all have seen both of these. I wonder if y'all can see the diamondback sticking his head out of the water just barely right there. See him? And then the cottonmouth is right there. So, I'm gonna go for the cottonmouth, because I catch them rare. Oh, and Diamondback's just disappeared, so I don't know where he is. Oh, guess Diamondback's off the table. Guess we are dealing with cottonmouth now. That's alright, I'm happy with that. Oh, Diamondback's up there. Okay, that's good, he can stay up there, I'll catch him later. Cottonmouth first. I did, in fact, lose both of them. But you know what? I sacrificed snakes to make certain... I sacrificed a common snake for a cooler snake, and then I sacrificed that really cool looking cottonmouth because the pattern was dope, for the fact that I didn't want to get bit. And that's, you know, as much as I like to pretend to be super cool daredevil, safety always comes first. I'm not gonna risk what would end up being one of, if I got bit by a cottonmouth, at least at this age, my herping career would probably end, because my parents have told me explicitly so many times it will be shit if I get bitten by a cottonmouth. And you know what? I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to be paying like $1,000 medical bills for their son because he went out and grabbed a venomous snake that decided to bite him. And that was the way. I could have grabbed it, but it was in a position it would have really lashed back and bit me. So I just decided it would be best to let it go. And so now we're here, but I would like to take this second to show y'all some really cool looking terrain that I just stumbled upon. There's this cool little shaded in creek area, and right above it, look at that! It's just entire trees, there's no ground under it, it's only tree roots, and it's still growing, and it's just sitting there like that. I think that's just the slightest bit cool. There's a grand example of erosion. This stream probably originally ran through here at probably about the same height as that tree. Over time the tree grew and the stream eroded all the way down to here. It washed out all the clay mixed with the walls, which is part of the reason the water here gets so cloudy so easily, is it'll kick all the clay up and stuff. But now we just have what is essentially something that it obeys Minecraft physics. And I guess since the roots are still lodged, it's technically leaning off of the land. But I just thought that was really cool looking and wanted to show you guys. You see a lot of erosion and just roots below trees here, but that's by far the craziest example of one I've seen, where it's only the tree floating. So that's pretty cool. I'll see y'all guys if we find anything else. I'm about to head out, get back onto the road, because I'm about to reach the end of the stream, or at least where I feel comfortable walking. I'll see you guys after that. Did it! Alright guys, I did it. I finally managed to grab a cottonmouth. Or not grab, I hooked it and put it in a net, because it was in a difficult position, kinda. But it is surprisingly one of the only ones that was in the most difficult position, and it was one of the only ones I didn't see like 5 minutes before. Like, I stepped, and like a good 3 feet in front of me, it moved and tried to go into the water, and that's when I was able to hook it and put it in the net. But he is right here. Another gorgeous snake. Look at that. For y'all it's coming out as brown, but that's like yellow-y. So this is what they grow up to look like around here. Of course, that could be an odd one that we found as a baby, but he'll darken out and become about this color. Most of the ones we've seen today have been this color. I know y'all only gotten clips like the tail and whatnot, but they've all kind of looked like this. And I'd just like to take a second to talk about why there's so many on this creek. Cottonmouths really hate people. And they don't hate like they want to kill. They hate like they hate being around. Kind of the way you would hate, say, an annoying aunt, or like an annoying, like, in-law, right? How you never want to go to your in-law's house. So you would pick a house that your in-laws can't really get to, or it's difficult for them to get to, so that you don't have to deal with them as much as possible without actually outright telling them, or in this case, outright biting them, in the weird relationship where humans are the in-laws of cottonmouths, which, I mean, yeah, y'all can decide how weird that metaphor is for yourself, but I'm hoping you get the general picture. They really just don't like to be around humans. Honestly, we're a bother. When we're not killing them, we're messing with them and putting them in a situation where they have to waste their venom, and their venom is their only means of eating. So a really nice secluded creek like this, where there's plenty of food, hence the fish earlier, like all the little fish beds, and where there's plenty of, you know, security. It's not in the sun, so it's not scalding hot all the time. It's nice and shaded, and there's not a lot of things that could really go after them here except for people, and most people aren't going to come here. As far as I've seen, the properties that this passes through, the owners aren't really vigilant about, you know, caring what happens to this creek back here. They don't really, it's not like the other creek where it runs right through some people's backyards. And a lot of times, anybody sees a snake, especially if it's a cottonmouth in their backyard, they're going to either shoot it or chop its head off with a shovel, all sorts of things. And so these guys really don't like being around people, because it's pretty much a death sentence for them, or a very big annoyance. It's going to make their day be quite much worse than if they hadn't seen a human. So you're way more likely to find these guys in secluded creeks, where they can enjoy peace and quiet without ever seeing a human for their entire lives. That may even be the case for this individual right here, although I kind of doubt it, because this is still what I would consider on the suburban side of rural area. He might not have ever seen a human until just now, which could explain why he's not freaking out inside of this net. But he seems to be just kind of really chill. I love his face. A lot of the time we see him where they're a lot darker, but you can see he's got that white little line going from his eye. As you can see, he does look a lot different from water snakes, but if a water snake's flattening its head out, especially a dark banded one, then it's gonna look a lot like this guy. And a lot of times people are under the false conception that cottonmouths are completely black snakes, and sometimes with yellow bellies, and that makes the plain-bellied water snakes, like the ones we saw earlier, if they're ever flaring out their faces, the way they makes them look kind of like a cottonmouth, it's an all-black snake with a triangle head. And you know what happens to those, for anybody who doesn't know that that's a water snake. And a lot of times people won't care if it's a water snake. They killed a snake either way. It's not their problem anymore. So it's kind of sad, but that's just the way the human race functions. And that's why a lot of these guys prefer the more secluded, away from people areas. So yeah, I'm really happy to have seen 4 of these guys today. Before now, I don't know if y'all know, but most of the creeks in my area don't have cottonmouths on them. And you know, that's probably a good thing, because I was able to become really comfortable catching snakes. Like last year and the year before, I was able to really dive in deep, because I was never around anything venomous, so I didn't ever have to worry about it. Over here, I'm a lot more wary before I grab the tail of, say, a banded water snake, because if I can only see the tail, they look really similar to cottonmouths. Of course, I'm able to tell the difference pretty quickly, but it's always nice to be able to have that kind of trial run like I had with my creek before coming to a creek like this. This does, however, mean I have cottonmouths by me, which is great, because now I can get regular footage of these guys, versus before, the only time I would ever find them is if I went to Davis's house, or if I went to, like, some secluded place in Covington. So yeah, really glad to find this guy. Probably gonna get some pictures and then let him go back where he was, because I don't want to walk through that deep water. I try to avoid walking through water I can't see the bottom of, in case there's something like a big snapping turtle or an alligator resting down there, because they do have those around here, as uncommon as they are, alligators. So I'm going to release him, and then I'm going to hop back up on the bank and keep on moving. Maybe we'll find something, but like I said, I'm coming pretty close to the end of the journey. Just one last look. Look at that gorgeous scalation. They really are pretty snakes. I'll see you guys in a bit. See, I've gotten this guy out of the net and onto land. Just wanted to touch up. He hasn't gaped at me, like, at all. That kind of convinces me that this guy has definitely not seen a human before, because he has no experience. He doesn't know that could possibly be a threat if it was like anybody but me or Davis. So yeah, it's really nice. I really enjoy them when they're not trying to, like, you know, open their mouth at you and hiss at you and get away all the time. So he's just a lot more chill. Sorry, I just had to kill a mosquito who was deeply embedded into my arm. But yeah, it's nice when you don't have pictures of them being all threatening and whatnot, so that you can show, yeah, these guys are actually pretty calm. They're not really aggressive snakes. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, time to let them go. Goodbye. Can you see him slithering along the bottom there? I love these animals. Herp of the day, guys. Sitting right up there was this really, really old, big old. And like he brings the old part of the big old, because this guy is clearly ancient. Or girl, I should say. Alright guys, next snake of the day, 5th cottonmouth. Wow. I never thought I'd be seeing numbers like this by my house. He's a real big boy. You can kind of see his outline through the bag, but he's pretty huge. We'll see if we can get a little bit of a thing. Fat old cottonmouth. I saw him way up there and I managed to come and wrestle him out of a hole he was going into up here, which is probably where I'm going to release him so I don't have to deal with him walking up further. But really cool find. I don't know if I'm going to get any pictures of him. I hope I can. Maybe right there, that'd be cool if he cooperates with me. But you never know, sometimes they don't. If not, I'll be satisfied. Like I said before, I'm getting all of this on film with y'all guys. So you guys will serve as a record for me, as well as y'all's own entertainment. I'm glad I get to show you guys this many cottonmouths. So here we can see one who's got a much darker pattern. This is more typical for what people will say, and this is probably what you're going to see if you ever see one. But he's not completely black. I mean, I hate how people just immediately assume that it's going to be a completely black snake, and every one that's a completely black snake is a cottonmouth. Because most of the time, a completely black snake is not a cottonmouth. That being said, down in the swamps where it's like really black mud and black water, you end up getting completely black cottonmouths. But here on Sandy Bottom Creek, which in this area is where you're likely going to find one of these, a clay bottom creek, they look a lot like this. So, you know, another false myth proven wrong. Snake myths. I'm going to get him out of the net, and then I'm going to take some pictures. But yeah, I'll try to get a release clip of this guy. Again, these guys are kind of unpredictable, so you never know if you're going to get a release clip or not. But hopefully I will, and if I will, I'll put in the video for you guys. Continue moving on. I'll see you guys then. Guys, once again, this pile of boards yielded something unexpected, or what was recently unexpected until I flipped that last one recently. But in my hands, you can already see it. Western dwarf salamander. I've already counted his toes. See, the way you differ western dwarf salamanders, at least, and two-line salamanders is that western dwarf salamanders have 3 toes on all their feet, and 2 lines, one of them should have 4, I think. But yeah, no, these guys are always a joy to see. They're really pretty. I love them. And yeah, he's really cool. I'm gonna put him up here, and maybe he'll pose for like a picture or two. Shoot. One of my favorite salamanders to find. A lot more common than I considered them to be, I suppose. Only salamander I've ever seen around here, but you can see he's not cooperating with filming. And so I'm gonna take some pictures and then put him back under his board. I'll see you guys in a bit. I hope some of those pictures were good. I'm gonna collect him now and put him back under his thing. There he goes. Alright, just got done filming that last clip and thinking there's no way I'm going to see any more snappers, right? But look right there. Watch this. Baby snapping turtle. Like, what is even going on? Why are there so many of these guys out today? He's having an attitude, which is weird for them at this size. Usually, they, he's got algae all over his face. Usually they're pretty docile at this size, but, for some reason, I guess not. Really cool. We saw like 8 snapping turtles today. That's a crazy day in my opinion. Really cool find though. Great herp to end the video. Y'all see the outro in just a couple of seconds. But yeah. Yeah, I'll see y'all then.